I'm legally blind, and yes, I'm responsible for the user interface. Data visualization. If I can see it and understand it quickly, anyone can. It's exciting to be part of a team driving the technology forward. I think that's the most rewarding thing. People who know BDO.
The ongoing support of these individuals and institutions. And friends of the NewsHour, including Jim and Nancy Bildner, and the Robert and Virginia Schiller Foundation.
Certified financial planner professionals are proud to support PBS NewsHour. CFP professionals are committed to acting in their clients' best interest. More information at letsmakeaplan.org.
The Ford Foundation, working with visionaries on the front lines of social change worldwide. Funding for America at a Crossroads was provided by and with the ongoing support of these individuals and institutions. This program was made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
You're watching PBS.
Coming up tonight on PBS Wisconsin.
Abandoned villages are scattered across Europe.
Most of these places are in ruins.
But for these intrepid couples,
it was love at first sight.
They're the opportunity of a lifetime.
Absolutely beautiful views.
If they can survive the renovations.
We feel exhausted.
The do-it-yourself project like no other.
This isn't supposed to happen.
On Help, We Bought a Village.
Season 2 premieres Thursday night on PBS Wisconsin. PBS Wisconsin celebrates 70 years of broadcasting. We thank you for years of support, viewership, and being a friend of PBS Wisconsin. We look forward to many more years sharing the stories of Wisconsin with you.
The PBS Kids channel is supported by a gift from Dr. Monroe and Sandra Trout in memory of their son Timothy, establishing the Timothy William Trout Education Fund, providing learning and inspiration to children across Wisconsin.
Program support for PBS Wisconsin is provided by
Children's Theater of Madison presents The Diary of Anne Frank, an historic tale of resilience, strength, and hope. May 4th through 19th in the Playhouse at Overture Center. Tickets at ctmtheater.org.
May is Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and we're celebrating the pride and stories of success and adversity that make such a strong and diverse community.
The Asian American story, in very surprising ways, really is everybody's story.
Watch and reflect at pbswisconsin.org/honor.
Abandoned villages are scattered across Europe.
Most of these places are in ruins.
But for these intrepid couples,
it was love at first sight.
They're the opportunity of a lifetime.
Absolutely beautiful views.
If they can survive the renovations.
We feel exhausted.
The do-it-yourself project like no other.
This isn't supposed to happen.
On Help, We Bought a Village.
Season 2 premieres Thursday night on PBS Wisconsin.
Thank you for watching PBS Wisconsin.
Program support for PBS Wisconsin is provided by
Since 1930, Surgenians has been committed to the local Madison community, keeping carpet and padding out of area landfills. And a wide selection of eco-flooring products is available in the Madison showroom. Local, sustainable Surgenians.
Bear watchers are gathering early this year in anticipation of Grizzly 399's emergence from the den.
She's coming, she's coming.
She's off the charts famous.
There they are, right there, right there.
Grizzly Bear 399, she's known as the matriarch or the queen in Grand Teton National Park.
Since I started photographing 399, it's been 15 years, but her fame makes everything more complicated.
As a bear biologist, we just kind of go, oh. Bears that get close to people lose their normal avoidance or fear response. This is good in a way because it allows them to live in places where there are people, but it also is risky.
There's just so many things that can go wrong once they get out of the park.
That behavior outside of a national park in the town is not tolerated. That bear is usually euthanized.
399 and the cubs were escorted by police through downtown Jackson. Does she get special treatment?
100%. Yeah, 100% she gets special treatment.
Nature is made possible in part by the Arnhold family, in memory of Henry and Clarice Arnhold. The Fairweather Foundation, the Kate W. Cassidy Foundation, Charles Rosenblum, Kathy Chow and Ken Howe, Sue and Edgar Wackenheim III, the Philemon M. D'Agostino Foundation, the Lillian Goldman Charitable Trust, the Greg Peters Muncie's Foundation, Koo and Patricia Ewan, committed to bridging cultural differences in our communities. Sandra Atlas Bass. Funding for this program was provided by Nature is also made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
It's May 18th, 2020. We're all hanging out at Pilgrim Creek because that's where she normally first shows up. Everybody's driving back and forth and going across the bridge really slow because you can't stop on the bridge. I was with Tom off a little ways, and all of a sudden, he got a text like 399's out.
Here.
Got it.
Most of us thought there's no way she's going to have cubs. She's getting older, and it's really rare.
Here they come. Here.
And sure enough, here she comes with 4 cubs. I said to myself, this is an amazing, special day. And it's incredibly nuts, really. But that's the effect that she has on people.
You saw 4, right?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Tom saw 4.
Local celebrity bear 399 emerged from her den in Grand Teton National Park this week, delighting onlookers with a surprisingly large litter of 4 cubs. At the advanced age of 24, if she's successful in raising these cubs over the next 2 years, she'll be the first documented grizzly to do so in the greater Yellowstone area.
Grizzly Bear 399, she's known as the matriarch or the queen in Grand Teton National Park. She's famous for coming out with 2, 3 cubs. And now, miraculously came out with 4 cubs, which is very rare. That's like a human having quadruplets.
She's off the charts famous. If you meet people out on the side of the road and, and they're like, have you seen 399? We want to see 399. Where's our best chance of seeing her? We just want to see her.
Your work.
Thank you very much.
I follow you on Instagram and have 2 of your pictures in my home, and it just absolutely, your photos make me cry when I look at them.
Thank you. What's your name?
Thank you so much, Kathy.
Nice to meet you, Kathy.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Appreciate it.
Since I started photographing 399, it's been 15 years. By default, I'm her documentarian, I guess.
The remarkable photographer who spent his life on the trail of elusive and endangered animals. His name is Tom Mangelson. If all artists have a muse, Tom Mangelson's is this 22-year-old female grizzly bear. She doesn't have a proper name, but is known by the research number 399.
I guess the number of frames that I've shot, 399, must be upwards of 1 million. Some people would call it an obsession, and I can't deny that. She inspires me. She has given me a lot of pleasure and joy and moved my passion to protect her and her offspring.
The cubs look really good in that one.
I wish it was closer.
I've worked as Tom Mangelson's personal assistant for the past 20 years and traveled the world with him. Tom was really excited to find grizzlies in our backyard. Prior to that, he had to either go to Canada or Alaska to photograph them.
Yeah, this is her favorite place to come out.
There they are. There they are, right there, right there.
My photographs have helped make her the most famous bear that's ever lived. But her fame makes everything more complicated. And it also has the potential to harm her and her cubs.
Oh, there she comes.
Here comes the 4th one.
There they are.
Cute.
It's a big job to take care of 4 cubs, and to keep track of them, to keep them out of trouble, just like children. Unlike wolves, which are very social animals that live in packs, grizzly bears are solitary. And so it's all mom. Mom is the total source of information and protection for all those cubs.
I see more of them. They're chasing each other.
There she is.
Across the greater Yellowstone ecosystem, cub survival rate is only 55%.
The #1 cause of mortality for cubs in the wild are male grizzly bears. Male grizzly bears, they see a sow with cubs in the spring. That's mating season. That female won't mate with him if she has cubs, but he can kill those cubs and push her into heat. It's pretty savage that bear would then mate with him afterwards, but that's how it works. And so the males will seek out killing these cubs. Grizzly Bear 399, she developed a unique behavior where she actually raises her cubs in proximity to traffic and to humans. And the reason is that male grizzly bears do not like people. They don't like being seen by people. They definitely don't like traffic. Grizzly 399, she learned over time that if she hangs out within 100 yards of the road, she has these people around that are in a way protecting her cubs from the male grizzly bears, which is very, very intelligent, and it's very well suited to the national parks. But now it's become far more complex to survive that proximity to humans.
Yeah, so it's barely. It's pretty frustrating.
Yeah.
Just a little frustrating.
And a bear jam is what we call just when all the traffic gets jammed up because there's a bear. In 2011, we were probably starting to have 100 cars at a bear jam. Now all of a sudden there might be 400 cars. It turns into total mayhem.
She's coming, she's coming, she's coming.
Hey, I'm coming this way.
All the things that could go wrong in one of those bear jam situations. You know, as a bear biologist, we just kind of go, oh. People look at her and think, oh, she's idyllically living in the national park. Isn't it just wonderful? But bears that get close to people lose their normal avoidance or fear response, and that's called habituation. This is good in a way because it allows them to live in places where there are people, but it also is risky because it puts them in closer association with people.
.399 has been so good at getting her cubs across the highway. Waiting by the roadside, looking both ways, and then she'll cross the road and call her cubs. Sometimes one will be left behind, and she'll go back across the highway, say, you guys stay here, I'm going to get Joey. I always think it's like Russian roulette every time they cross the road, Russian roulette. But she's managed against all odds, except one time, and that was Snowy.
In 2016, 399 came out with a single cub. Really light-faced cub, so it just got nicknamed Snowy.
She was a single cub, one of the only single cubs that we know that 399's had. 399 played with Snowy a lot. They were just, so much fun to watch. And then 399 was crossing the road at dusk, just north of Pilgrim Creek. And Snowy was hit by a driver that didn't stop.
They never found out who hit the cub.
And 399 picked up Snowy and took him off the road. Laid the body by a big spruce tree. And then ran up and down the road, bawling all night long. You could feel 399's how distraught she was. That was a really sad day.
All right, you guys ready? What's the top of your list? The bear?
Grizzly. Grizzly.
Grizzly bear?
So $3.99 is by and far and none the most popular and famous bear here in the Tetons, and probably, in all honesty, in the world. We are within minutes of where I was told to maybe go. I need you all to keep your fingers crossed, think positive thoughts. And this is a bear jam. So let's hop out. Right there, in the trees.
Right there, there's Mama. There's Mama right there. Right there.
Yep.
It's right there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, here she is. Look, right there. Right there.
Oh, I see. I see her.
Keep that on her.
Grizzly bear management is incredibly complex. Certainly, there's a lot of passion by people who really enjoy the opportunity to see grizzly bears, are really passionate about bears. The grizzly bear was listed under the Endangered Species Act in 1975.
We probably had 30 females left in the Yellowstone ecosystem. That's it. The Yellowstone bears were about to go extinct. They would be gone today, but now they're here because they were listed. We caught them just in the nick of time. You know, they're kind of the epitome of a challenging species to recover under the Endangered Species Act. You know, they can conflict with people, whether it's garbage or livestock or whatever. They can kill people. They have killed people.
Bear management will likely continue to adapt and evolve as we move forward. You said you were in the Pilgrim Creek area, is that correct? So it is very possible that you did see a grizzly there. When a grizzly bear is in conflict with humans, we investigate the circumstances and we evaluate what are our management options. Sometimes that might mean capturing that bear and relocating that bear to a different part of the park or a different part of the ecosystem. The unfortunate reality, sometimes that might mean we may have to euthanize a bear and remove it from the population.
$3.99 has habituated, and all of her offspring are habituated because her offspring learn from her. If she gets into a situation where she becomes really dangerous to people, she's probably going to have to be removed. We don't want that to happen. We never want that to happen.
There's a lot of knee-jerk opinions about roadside bears.
Nice color behind me.
This is a living, intelligent, emotional being. Won't everybody just leave the bear alone? Only the wild owns the bears.
Getting pretty far.
Bear watchers are gathering early this year in anticipation of Grizzly 399's emergence from the den. They hope the famous Bruin will emerge this April with all 4 of her cubs. The famous family's presence in Grand Teton National Park is expected to draw large crowds again this summer.
It's day 13 waiting for her and haven't even seen a bear, let alone 399.
Watching her basically over 15 years, every season, you just have to wait. It takes so much patience and waiting, but that's what I've done all my life.
I was hoping she would come out a week or two earlier than last year because the cubs are much bigger and they're a year older. Last year I spent 145 days out. I mean, that's half the year. Stupid amount of time. You know, all those days I probably photographed her 15, maybe. The payoff is great, but it's a hell of a lot of waiting. All 4 cubs are just running. She's fine. They're playing. Now they stop for a second. They're healthy as heck. Finally, after 2 weeks, waiting. Every day, all day. Oh, look at them go. Wow. Man, she was like full of energy. Just the cubs are running ahead of her. That was really cool. They ran for like 3 miles there, full out. I'd love to see them run. She has inspired me to just enjoy life more. Honestly, that's simple. But I never got married. Sort of missed the boat having kids. But maybe $3.99 in a way. Watching her with all of her cubs over the years is somewhat, I don't know, this sounds goofy, but it's replaced that sort of need in a way. And now where's she gonna go? There they are. You see them?
Yeah, I got them.
In the early spring, when they come out of the den, they're just looking for any kind of food. By now, the cubs are big. You know, they're all hungry. They've been in the den and haven't had anything to eat for months. At first, they're grazing right along the side of the road, so they're easy to spot. But then $3.99 started moving south, heading south out of the park.
Grizzly bears are a transboundary species. Here in Grand Teton, we're a relatively small national park. Most of our grizzly bears actually use areas outside of Grand Teton when food sources are really scarce. But grizzly bears outside the park, certainly some controversy involved.
We didn't see her much all summer because $3.99, she started being very elusive. It was very unusual. So it started being much harder to find her. She was getting in all these people's beehives and was going through neighborhoods, on somebody's porch.
Oh, and no, it's $3.99. That's... Oh my God.
It's like a zoo here.
Uh-huh.
She really started changing her behavior. And that was really, really stressful because there's just so many things that can go wrong once they get out of the park.
I'm a fifth-generation rancher from Sublette County. When I was a kid, I spent my summers with my granddad, and we moved cows, cowboying they call it, in the mountains up here. Never saw a grizzly bear, never heard of a grizzly bear, other than up in Alaska or Canada or somewhere else. It really varies year to year. I mean, Last year, we lost as many as 10 or 12 cattle to bear kills. And we don't mind feeding a grizzly once in a while, but we're trying to feed people, not grizzlies. Bear 399, she's a beautiful animal, but I think they habituated that bear and her cubs to people by chasing her all around, and everybody wanted to see her, and they didn't let her be a wild bear. And, you know, those things come back to haunt wildlife most of the time.
What does a person do with their yard, right? Do you just let everything just grow wild in your yard? You manage your yard. And this is your yard. This is everybody's yard. It's public land. And it ought to be managed properly. I would like to see the state of Wyoming be able to manage the bears themselves, and that would mean hunting. Allow, you know, a hunting season on the grizzly bears, which is fine. I think they should be here, but they just need to be managed to a certain number. And you know, that number's, we're over it.
They are a beautiful animal, and they take really good pictures. They're also a dangerous animal.
As great a mother as 399 might be, and as cute as the cubs might be, she's in fact a grizzly bear with long teeth and claws and can do substantial damage to a person in certain situations.
You know, they can conflict with people. Actually, the first time I ever heard of 399 is when she mauled a guy in the northern part of Grand Teton Park.
"15 years ago, 2007, I used to get up early and go for runs and hikes, and so I wanted to do that in the national park. As I'm going up this path, all of a sudden there's 399 and her cubs. And I'm yelling, "Hey, hey!" She was charging right at me, but just turned and stopped right next to me, arm length away. I stepped directly away from her, and I stepped off the edge of the road, and I had to take quick steps to keep from falling down. That moment, she charged right at me. She bit me in the back, and at that moment, I had this thought that they're just going to eat me. The next thing that happens is I hear this voice yelling, "Hey, hey," and then there's more commotion. Then I hear voices. Then this paw leaves my leg. When I got to the hospital, a Park Service employee asked what I thought should be done with the bear. I did not want to see anything happen to that bear. It was not at all her fault.
In a surprise encounter, she was feeding on an elk carcass. She had offspring with her. The Park Service called me. We agreed to leave that bear on the landscape and not do anything to her because it was what we call a natural aggression. And so that was a long time ago. But it was a recognition that there were more and more bears in the Jackson Valley, and they would be moving south, and there'd be more people around.
Grizzly bears, there's so much controversy there, mostly because they're still protected under the Endangered Species Act. The grizzly bears in the greater Yellowstone ecosystem, they've recovered more than 7 times of what they were. And so Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming have petitioned for the grizzly bears to be taken off the list. And that is on the table right now. That is the intention of the Endangered Species Act, is that an animal recovers and then they're delisted. The majority of Wyoming wants that to happen. The ranchers want that to happen. The hunting community wants that to happen. But the argument for keeping them on the list is that we're not seeing any gene flow between the distinct populations. Here in the greater Yellowstone ecosystem, we've got a really healthy population. Up in the Bob Marshall Wilderness and Glacier National Park, you have another population of grizzly bears, and there has not been gene flow between those two populations, meaning there's a genetic bottleneck. Grizzly bears need connected landscapes and corridors in order to make that gene flow possible. Recovery, in many people's opinion, would be defined by when those two populations can interbreed. Some people would argue that we should let that happen first before they're delisted. If they get delisted, they're gonna get hunted. 399's behavior is a great behavior within a national park. If there was a hunting season for grizzlies, it would be a horrible behavior to be that tolerant of people. If there was a hunting season, it would actually be some of these roadside bears that would be the first to go.
That whole fall was just always, you never knew where she was going to be. And it's all private property. So the game and fish were chasing people out. And we're all worried that she's going to get in trouble.
From a management perspective, I mean, she's a nightmare. Everybody was like, oh my God, she's in this neighborhood. Now she's in this neighborhood. Now she's back in the park. And you talk to people that work for the Forest Service, they work for the Park Service, they work for U.S. Fish and Wildlife, Wyoming Game and Fish. The public is telling them they need to do this. They need to protect this animal. There's so much pressure on them.
Late Saturday, an interagency team successfully attached radio collars to two of grizzly bear 399's yearlings in order to monitor the bear's location and take steps to prevent conflicts between the bears and residents of Jackson Hole.
Look at that. Yeah. That whole parking lot was full of agency people, and the parking lot was closed off. They trapped 3 of the cubs, 399, and she ran up in that little hill there, obviously really stressed out, looking for her cubs. I mean, I've seen her lose cubs before, just in the bushes and stuff, and she goes nuts by huffing and drooling and standing up and running around and bawling like crazy. And
over the weekend, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service collared 2 of the 399's 4 yearling cubs after increasing conflicts with humans south of Jackson.
excuse me for interrupting, but what happened 2 days ago, it was pretty brutal, I think. She was separated with her 1 cub from her 3 other cubs. She's 26 years old. She does not need to have her cubs darted and drugged.
Yeah, Tom, no, thanks for that response. And this is where, this passion comes through, right? Dr. Savine, any response to that?
What happened was to try to get collars on some of these subadults so that we could understand where they're getting into trouble. And most disturbing to us bear biologists is what her offspring are going to do, because they're learning how to live around people. And, we've got increasing numbers of bears, and we've got increasing numbers of people in bear habitat. And that collision is the dance that's occurring. And I just hope that we can keep her out of trouble.
Grizzly 399 and her 4 yearlings paid a visit to Jackson last night around 10:30 p.m. and got a reception from law enforcement and wildlife authorities.
5 grizzly bears walk the entire length of Jackson Hole. Everybody in Jackson Hole held their collective breaths. It was a wake-up to people here. Where she goes and what she does, she teaches that to her young. If an animal's around people a lot and nothing bad happens, they become more likely to be around people because it's not that scary.
That behavior outside of a national park, in the town of Jackson, in a neighborhood, along a highway, is not tolerated. That bear is usually euthanized.
399 and the cubs were escorted by police through downtown Jackson. Does she get special treatment?
100%. Yeah, 100% she gets special treatment. These bears are getting pushed into more human conflicts because their natural food sources are being hit hard by climate change. The big changes that we're seeing are in the fall. Right now it's first week of October and it's still 70 degrees and sunny, when historically we'd be getting our first snowfalls right about now. Our falls are getting warmer, our springs are getting warmer, and in general our summers are getting longer out here, driven by climate change. And so plants that bears like to eat, like chokecherry and serviceberry and buffalo berry, are all fruiting earlier, and they're providing food in late summer instead of early fall when the bears need them going to hibernation. And what that could mean is that the bears are going into the fall hungrier, seeking alternative food sources, traveling further in search of food, because their fall food sources are not as reliable as they once were. So bear-human conflicts are only going to increase, and that is not the bear's fault. All these arguments over a single grizzly bear, 399 is the symbol. It's not about one individual animal. It's about grizzly bears surviving into the future. It's about the preservation of nature itself.
Grizzly Bear 399 and her 4 cubs have been elusive ever since their walk through downtown Jackson last month. The famous family has been rarely seen, but the radio collars on 2 of the cubs provide wildlife officials with the family's location. 399's fans assume the grizzlies have made it to den in Grand Teton National Park, where they're expected to hibernate.
So go ahead and cross Pilgrim Creek and maybe even get out the scope and scan those hills. Well, every day we wait gets closer to the day she should be out. So hopefully they're all healthy and well and made it through the winter, which we actually don't know for sure. So I don't know what she's waiting for, but I'm getting a little worried, actually. So I think we start taking for granted that she's going to survive the winter, she's going to survive the den. But she's kind of at the very end of her life.
In 2021, Montana had 128 conflicts with grizzly bears, resulting in 2 human injuries, 1 human fatality. We did also have 10 documented grizzly bear mortalities this last year.
Today I'll be talking about grizzly bear conflicts. It wasn't until about 2005 when we started seeing conflicts every year.
But I think the real elephant in the room is the delisting of grizzly bears. To delist grizzly bears and then turn over the management to the states of Wyoming, Idaho, and Montana. We did that with wolves recently, and they've massacred wolves. If that's the kind of management states do to wolves, why the hell would we ever want to turn over the management of grizzly bears to the states? Thank you.
Okay. Thanks a lot, everybody. We're done.
Headline reads, 399 faces tough future. Hillary Cooley is worried about the season ahead for Grizzly 399 and her cubs, who have yet to emerge from hibernation. The future's not so bright for these guys, she said during a meeting of state and federal wildlife and land managers Wednesday in Jackson. They've been in a lot of trouble. They've not been in a lot of trouble, in my opinion. They've gone south, they've gone through neighborhoods, they've gotten in some beehives. But that's not a lot of trouble.
Just keep your eye on that whole open area.
You got your longer lips?
Yeah.
Okay, hold it there. Here she comes. Oh my God, I told you she'd come down the river. I knew she'd come down the river.
Tom, how are you feeling?
I'm very amazed that we saw her. I was just about ready to give up. Not give up on her, but for a day.
Yeah.
She's just sauntering. The cubs all look really healthy. And yeah, I was starting to worry, really.
They're coming right to me. Okay, we did it! She's out of the den. We were in there for the last couple little minutes all by ourselves, and she walked right frickin' past us. I mean, was that not amazing? When she came across and just went whoosh. It's just like, that's like your heart just starts pounding. I mean, I've been watching her for 17 years, and it still is so thrilling.
There is no doubt that 399 has a lot of experience of how to successfully raise cubs, how to navigate the landscape with cubs. But certainly once those cubs reach adulthood, there are questions about, what is their survival, especially some of these cubs that are habituated, are now leaving the park because the park is fully occupied with grizzlies. There just isn't additional suitable habitat available for grizzlies to coexist in some of these highly human-dominated areas.
So look at all the cars. Unbelievable. Holy man.
2022, the cubs were 2.5, so that's the summer they get kicked out. The night before, we saw her nursing them, and we didn't realize she still nursed when they're that big. And then the next day, she starts running down the trail, and she's swatting them and growling at them, and I was like, what is going on? Nobody could figure it out. She chased them off. And then the next day, we saw her, and she didn't have the cubs. And then you saw her cubs come out of the trees, and she chased them for a mile. Then the cubs got the picture. It's like, oh, we can't come back anymore. But it was really sad to watch, because we'd been watching them all being so loving. Sometimes cubs will stick together. That first summer, they're kicked out for a little while, and then they separate. But for the most part, all of a sudden, they're out on their own.
Wasn't until most recently we had a bear, which we later understood to be 1057, a cub of the famous mama bear 399. This is when you first noticed the bear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the bear turned and looked.
The bear had been on other people's porch as well, and actually had gotten into someone's freezer.
Game and Fish, they told me that that was the 13th call that they had received.
There's a difference between a habituated bear and a food-conditioned bear. A habituated bear is familiar with people in the environment without being spooked. A food-conditioned bear sees people or signs of people and associates them with food. And that's one thing that society won't tolerate.
It broke my heart. I mean, I obviously saw how difficult it is for 399 to raise these 4 cubs to subadult. You got to give these bears a better chance than that.
When we learned that 1057 was euthanized, I felt as humans, we were responsible for that. Mm-hmm. And that's where we've kind of shortchanged the bears.
Has changed people's attitude towards grizzly bears. And because of that, she will likely save bears from being delisted and killed. Who's this?
This is my dad.
I thought so.
Tim, sir, nice to meet you. We
Nice to
love
meet
your work.
Thank you. Pleasure to meet you.
This guy got a shot of 399 this morning, as a matter of fact.
You did?
Yeah.
Through some trees ever since
I was there.
Oh, really?
Well, and I didn't get a shot.
No.
So is that the first time you've seen her?
Yes.
Yeah?
I've been here 2 other times, and I've been looking for her, but I haven't seen her. It was the first time.
So good for you.
Thank you.
She's such a challenge to photograph. I mean, seriously, photograph really good images. I mean, I have probably really great images. I have to say, maybe 5 or 10. You know, ones that I, in my heart, like The Guardian. And First Light. Out of the Sage. Those are special images. Images that I say that I got it. You know, that's great. Good job, Tommy.
Hey, excuse me.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
There's a grizzly bear far out on your left.
Oh, awesome.
Just watch where the people are looking.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. You know, I think every year I should do something else and get a life, whatever. And then she surprises me. There she is.
Oh my God, look at that.
.399 comes out of the den this year with another cub. At 27 years old, she is the oldest living grizzly bear that's ever given birth in the greater Yellowstone area. I got her. It just amazes everybody because everybody says she's too old. She can't have any more cubs, but she did. The cub had a lot of spirit. So I personally named him Spirit just for my own sake. .399 gives me a lot of hope. The odds are stacked against her, but she lives every day, every year, trying to raise her cubs in a really difficult world. She's just one special bear.
Join us for the 35th anniversary of the National Memorial Day Concert, a night to honor our troops, our veterans, and our military families. Join me, Joe Mantegna.
And me, Gary Sinise.
With Bryan Cranston, B.D. Wong, Jenna Malone, Jamie Johnson, Gary LaVox, Mary McCormick, and Cynthia Erivo.
The National Memorial Day Concert.
Sunday, May 26th, 8, 7 Central on PBS, the PBS app, and PBS YouTube channel.
The entire world is seeing the depth of animal suffering.
People understand what's going on. Animals, they don't understand.
The Ukraine war has really been an eye-opener to many of us as to the complexities of our obligations to animals in wartime.
No one's going to be left behind, including their pets.
Don't miss a single moment. Catch up with everything nature at pbs.org. Screen complete episodes from this season and seasons past. Explore nature's digital series.
Can we really know which animal is the smartest?
Meet our scientists, both behind the scenes and through our podcasts.
This is a different kind of nature show, all about the human drama of saving animals.
Stay connected with nature's online community, all at pbs.org.
Nature is made possible in part by the Arnhold family, in memory of Henry and Clarice Arnhold. The Fairweather Foundation, the Kate W. Cassidy Foundation, Charles Rosenblum, Kathy Chow and Ken Howe, Sue and Edgar Wackenheim III, the Philemon M. D'Agostino Foundation, the Lillian Goldman Charitable Trust, the Greg Peters Muncie's Foundation, Ku and Patricia Ewan, committed to bridging cultural differences in our communities. Sandra Atlas Bass. Funding for this program was provided by Nature is also made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you. This program is available with PBS Passport and on Amazon Prime Video. To learn more about what you've seen on this nature program, visit pbs.org.
You're watching PBS.
Program support for PBS Wisconsin is provided by
the depth of animal suffering.
People understand what's going on. Animals, they don't understand.
The Ukraine war has really been an eye-opener to many of us as to the complexities of our obligations to animals in wartime.
No one's going to be left behind, including their pets.
Next Wednesday night, only on PBS Wisconsin.
What does it take to set aside old assumptions and ask better questions about the futures we want to see unfold? If we want to be able to move forward and build out those flourishing futures for the generations to come, we have to be asking ourselves, what if we actually got it right?
Next, only on PBS Wisconsin.
The way humans make sense of the world is through stories.
We've got to go ahead and start training to go to Mars.
And liftoff.
We pay tribute to all who serve and have served.
Civilization is precious. Life is precious.
Artists here are making a difference.
I'm trying to seek redemption.
Program support for PBS Wisconsin is provided by
Madison Community Foundation, proud to support PBS Wisconsin, dedicated to helping people achieve their charitable giving goals, with options for focused philanthropy and legacy giving at madisongives.org. Tailor your giving.
Join PBS Wisconsin this May for Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. We'll share powerful stories of adversity and resilience.
Couldn't believe that we were being corralled to this concentration camp.
And we'll celebrate their rich cultural and political contributions.
Practicing photographic justice,
honor, sacrifice, commitment, and triumph.
Genoa, Italy, without warning. A deadly bridge collapse. Who's to blame? And are we at risk?
We have had over 24 bridges fail in the United States since 2000.
Inside the global race to save our bridges.
We have a significant challenge.
Why bridges collapse on Nova.
Tonight, only on PBS Wisconsin.
Watch more of your favorite shows online and on the PBS app on your phone, tablet, Roku, other streaming devices, and smart TVs.
A
brief history of the future was made possible in part by the Rosalind P. Walter Foundation, Hoveda Family Foundation, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
I started football at 4 years old. I started really, really young. I always wanted to be forward. Yeah. I wanted to score goals. When you are kids, you dream to score goals. You know how to juggle?
Yeah, sure.
Right foot or left foot?
Right foot.
Right foot, like me. You take the ball to go like this, you know, and you go right, left, left.
So easy.
Not easy, but we try. Yeah, for sure. Why not?
Is this the first thing you learned when you started playing? Is this what you started doing?
The first thing I learned is to score goals. Does not help you to score goals.
I'm in Paris today with the world-renowned athlete Kylian Mbappe to get his perspective on what it takes to visualize the outcomes we want to see unfold. Because in this moment, we're becoming urgently aware that we have real choices to make, the outcome of which will shape so much of what comes next. We get to decide. And while we focus a lot on what we don't want, we often fail to take the most important step of all, picturing what kind of futures we do want,
Bonjour, ça va?
seeing the goal we are aiming for. What's the importance of visualizing success in making anything happen?
You know, it's a part of yourself. Me, I was born with that. I always have this idea of success, to be someone and to achieve many things. And every year, every month, every day, I have new goals. And not only in sport, in everything you do. In life, you have objectives, you have goals for your family, for yourself, at work. And I think that's the step to success.
Walk me through the moment right before you take a penalty kick. You're taking a shot on goal. What are you seeing in your mind?
If I score, what happened? If I miss, what happened? And that's like 100 questions in a second that's coming in your mind. And you have to be able to say, like, now is the present. You know, you let the future come in your mind, but the most important thing in the penalty is to be in the moment. And you go with the confidence that you're gonna score. There is no other option.
I assume you don't visualize you missing the goal.
No, never, never. That can happen, but never. If you visualize that you miss a goal before the shot, you lose 50% of your confidence. And you need 100% of confidence to score a goal.
I'm often asked as a futurist, well, what if? And most of those what ifs are usually worst case scenarios. What if an asteroid comes hurtling towards our planet? What if AI gets out of control? And I think at this point, we can ask ourselves a potentially more important what if question. What if we're successful? What if we are able to provide basic and beyond basic services for everyone on the planet? Because we tend to think of the what if through a kind of a negative lens. If we want to be able to move forward and build out those flourishing futures for the generations to come, we have to be asking ourselves, what if we actually got it right?